So let us look at this interesting question. Solve n squared minus n cubed is equal to 2. So the first thing you're going to do is bring the constant term to the left-hand side so that you have n squared minus n cubed minus 2 is equal to 0. And then the next thing would be to rewrite minus 2 as a sum of two numbers. So we want to have 2 or minus 2 as minus 1, which you can also write as minus 1 squared minus 1 cubed. Remember, this does not change the value of minus 2. So let us use this. So we're going to have n squared minus n cubed minus 1 squared minus 1 cubed is equal to 0. Then if we collect the like terms, we're going to have minus 2 minus 1 squared minus n cubed minus 1 cubed is equal to 0. So if you look at this, we have n squared minus 1 squared, which is a difference of squares. And then we have n cubed plus 1 cubed, which is a sum of cubes. So if we apply the quadratic identities, we can rewrite this difference of squares using this, that a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. And if we look at this sum of cubes, we can use the rule that says that a cubed plus b cubed is the same as a plus b into a squared minus ab plus b squared. So let us apply these two. So n squared minus 1 squared will be n plus 1 into n minus 1 minus the sum of cubes, that is n cubed plus 1 cubed, will be the same as n plus 1 times n squared minus n plus 1 is equal to 0. So if you look at these two, you'll realize that there's a common factor, that is n plus 1. So we need to factor it out. So we have n plus 1 into, we're going to have n minus 1 minus n squared minus n plus 1, and that is equal to 0. So let us simplify what we have inside the bracket. So outside the bracket we have n plus 1, and then we have n minus 1 minus n squared plus n minus 1, and that's equal to 0. So that we have n plus 1 into, we can use the highest power to start this. So we have minus n squared, then you have n plus n, that is plus 2n, and you have minus 1, which is minus 2, and that's equal to 0. So the product of these two numbers is equal to 0. So it means that n plus 1 is equal to 0, or minus n squared plus 2n minus 2 is equal to 0. So if we take that the first one is equal to 0, then it means that n is equal to negative 1. So we have the first solution for n, or for the equation that we had. And if we take the second one to be equal to 0, then we can see that this is a quadratic equation which we can solve using the quadratic formula. So we can write this as n squared minus 2n plus 2 is equal to 0. And we can apply the quadratic formula as minus b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So let us identify what a is. So a, according to this, is 1, and b, according to that, is -2, and c is +2. So all we need to do is substitute these values into our formula. So we are going to have n being equal to -b, and since b is -2, so we have -2 minus -2 plus, in bracket or under the root, we have -2 squared minus 4 into a, and a is 1, into c, and c is 2. And this is over 2a, that is 2 into 1. So let us simplify this. So -2 is +2, plus under the root, we have -2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times 1 times 2, that is -8 over 2. So we have 2 plus or minus the root of 4 minus 8, that is -4 over 2. So we can write root of -4 as a product of two numbers, that is 2 plus or minus the root of 4 times the root of -1 over 2. So we have 2 plus or minus, the root of 4 is 2, and the root of -1 is I, and that is over 2. So we can factorize 2 in the numerator, that we have 1 plus or minus I over 2. So this 2 and that 2 will cancel, so that we are left with 1 plus or minus I. So what this means is that n is either 1 plus I, or n is 1 minus I. Thereby, we have other solutions for n. So n can be 1 plus I, or n can be 1 minus I. And if you remember, the first solution we obtained was that n is equal to -1. So those are the three solutions of our equation. So we can check if the real solution, that is -1, tallies or is actually a solution to our equation. So remember, our equation was n squared minus n cubed is equal to 2. So n is -2 according to our solutions. So we have n squared will be -1 squared minus -1 cubed, and let us see if that is equal to 2. So -1 squared is 1, and minus 1 minus -1 cubed is -1. So minus minus is a plus, so it means this is 1 plus 1, and 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So it means, therefore, that our solution is true, that n is equal to -1.